Welcome back to Main Character Manifesto, where we don't wait for perfect timing, big breakthroughs, or anyone else's permission to start living our dream life. I am your host, Ceci, and today we're getting into something that might just shift your whole mindset. We're talking about celebrating small wins and honoring exactly where you are right now before the dream body, the dream job, the soulmate, the six-figure business. Because let's be honest, if you're constantly focused on what you don't have, you're missing the magic that's already happening. So whether you showed up to the gym when you didn't want to, you chose rest when you would have pushed through burnout, or simply made it through the week without spiraling, baby, that's a win. You better clap for her, because in this episode, we're going to rewire how you see progress, talk about why the little things are actually everything, and I'll give you some mindset shifts to stop chasing and start celebrating. Because the version of you who has it all, she's built by the one who's proud of every step. Let's get into it.
Who's that girl? That's me. I'm on fire. I'm a hot girl. I'm a hot girl. I get anything I want. This is my world. I make big moves in my big heels. Since the day that I was born, I've been a big deal.
Let's do this. Hello. How is everybody doing? Let me just give you guys a little update on my end. I feel like life has been so crazy busy the last couple of months, and I know I've said that in a few episodes back, but I think my body is finally saying, yo, you gotta slow down. You gotta just take a breather. You gotta relax a little bit, because I feel like I'm getting all of these flare-ups in my body, and I definitely need to practice what I preach and listen to my body. And that is exactly why today's episode is audio only and not video, because your girl has a sty. Your girl has a horrible swollen eye. It is super painful. I have been dealing with it for a little over, I guess it's going to be a week tomorrow. But it is at the point where it's obstructing my vision, and it's so painful and uncomfortable. I've been so good about not putting any makeup on it and just taking care of it. I went to the doctor, we got the antibiotics, and now all we need is time. So I am listening to my body, and I'm not doing more than what I need to do so that I can get back to being healthy. And this really made me realize that the episode that I wanted for today was talking about all of the things that we overlook. So having things that set you back for whatever you're doing. For example, I was very stressed out about this episode because I was supposed to record it last week, and my eye kept getting worse and worse, and I kept thinking, what am I going to do? And the podcast is my passion project, but I treat it as a full-time, job. I'm very present, and I hold myself accountable for the things that I want to do. Whatever project that I am doing, I give it 100%. When I dedicate my time and energy and effort, and when I commit to something, I show up for it. So in my mind, I said, there is no way that I am not putting out an episode this week. And it's for myself, right? Like, I appreciate every single person that listens to the podcast. And let me just tell you, I've gotten so many comments and DMs, and I even saw some of you at La Onda, the festival that was here in Napa a few weeks ago. And it's so beautiful to hear the feedback and the comments and say, hey, I love what your message is and thank you. This really resonated with me. So please keep sending me those messages. They really encourage me and help me to keep going. But also, I was so worried about, oh my God, what am I going to do? At the end of the day, it's not that serious, right? If I can still speak, I can still put out a podcast. That doesn't mean that every single podcast has to be a video. If it doesn't happen, it's okay. The message is still out there. And sometimes life is about adjusting to whatever comes your way. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about how fast you're able to recover when curveballs are thrown your way. That's the way that I see it. So, in today's episode, I wanted to talk about celebrating all of those little small wins that we normally don't celebrate because, like me, I think many of you feel like you're so focused on the goal and you're so focused on getting to where you need to go, and you may be very inspired and driven and committed, and you're just looking forward to where you need to go, that you're not even paying attention to everything that you've done and all that you have accomplished. So today, we're going to slow down. We're going to take a moment. We're going to take a deep breath, and we are going to pay attention and celebrate those beautiful small wins that we may not even notice that we're already winning in so many areas of our lives. Are you guys all ready? Let's get into it. I think an example from my own life is just seeing where I was maybe like 2 years ago in my personal development journey. And even when I first started my coaching certification program, one of the things that I would talk about with my coach was my fear of being seen and my fear of speaking my truth and having my voice heard. It was real. It was one of the biggest things that would hold me back from telling people that I was deciding to take on a new career path of becoming a life coach. So, the things that I worked through were, why was I so scared of being seen? And it's fear of judgment, right? Fear of being seen exactly as you are and being rejected. So fear of rejection, fear of being seen, and fear of being different. Choosing something different that is not the normal path is very scary. And having the courage to take that leap of faith and to stand up in a sea of people that are all the same, and you stand up and you stand out and you're different. That's literally been a journey in my life that I've been walking since the beginning of time. So for me, one of the moments that I really wanted to celebrate was how far I have come from the moment of deciding to become a life coach and then stepping into whatever that means, right? So that means I have to step into a place where I'm more visible. I have to put myself out there more clearly, because if I want my message heard and I want to attract the people that I want to help, if you want to be a leader, you have to understand that with that comes power, that with that comes visibility. And you have to be comfortable with yourself and just trust that your purpose that you're following and that your authentic self is going to show through. And also, we have to be okay with not everybody liking everything we do. And that includes your friends and family. I feel like I have a very, very supportive group of individuals around me. My friends and my family are always cheering me on. But listen, it's not their job to like and subscribe and repost and post every single thing that you do. I'm totally okay with that. My goal is to find my tribe, find the group of people that need the services, that need the message, that need the things that I'm looking for. Therefore, it's okay if the people that I know separate from my business aren't always interacting with my things. So, understanding where you are, appreciating where you are, and knowing where you're going, standing in your truth, that is what I'm celebrating today. I am celebrating the fact that I took that leap of faith and I show up consistently now. It is something that I am very proud of because I hear the positive feedback from women saying, hey, that message really resonated with me. I really needed to hear that. And to me, that makes it all worth it. Those moments of feeling completely cringy, the moment I am about to post a piece of content, are completely gone the moment I hear somebody saying, thank you so much. I needed to hear that right now. Thank you for your message. Thank you for your content. That is just priceless. With that also, and I've talked about this before, shifting your mindset to realizing what are the things that you want to celebrate and be happy about for the moment of where you are right now versus thinking about where you're not and what you're lacking. That is also tapping into a different type of mindset. So shifting your mindset from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset. Thinking about what you don't have and where you are lacking means that you are not in the right mindset. So that's where you got to shift, and you got to shift your energy because energy attracts energy. If you're feeling in the lack, then you're going to keep attracting more lack. So that is just something that I wanted to bring awareness to. Whenever you're having these feelings of being behind or left out or like you're not doing enough, bring some awareness to those thoughts. They definitely need recognition, but then release them and then shift whatever thought you may have and think about what is a positive alternative to that. Like, what am I actually winning on that I'm not looking at in the current moment? Another thing is there's a problem with always chasing what's next. When you're a very driven individual, it's normal to have a lot of goals and to constantly be thinking of what's next, what's next, what's next. But the problem with that is that sometimes you get disconnected from your journey and the identity, meaning that you may originally set certain goals for a specific purpose, but we get so stuck on getting to that goal that sometimes our goals may change or our views may change or the reason why you started that has changed and you may have to pivot. So if you're just constantly chasing on what's next, you might not even realize that you may have ended up on a road where you weren't even intending to be. Or maybe you did intend to be on that road at the beginning of the process, but things have changed, maybe life experiences, your situation changed, and then you may need to pivot. And if you're so busy just chasing the goal, you might even not realize that it's time to change direction and go down a different road. A good example of always chasing the next and not really paying attention if you're on the right road is if you're just trying to keep up with what everybody else is doing. I think many of us fall into this where we see everybody around us doing things that we feel like we should be doing. And then we're like, oh, damn, they're doing all these things. Maybe I should be doing all of those things. Okay, they just got married. Maybe we should get married. They just had a kid. Okay, maybe we should have a kid. They just bought a house. We should buy a house. People get so stuck on keeping up with the Joneses that they don't really stop to think about, is that even what I want? It doesn't matter if the neighbors or my best friends or my sister or whoever is doing it. Is that what I want? Does that align with my values? What is making me happy right now? And oftentimes, when people really sit down and analyze what's going on in their lives, they realize that, okay, that's hella cool. Yeah, I love that for them. But that's not the direction that I want to be going down at this moment. There's a different journey for me. So if you just check with yourself and figure out, okay, what are the things that I really want to be doing right now? Or what are the things that I'm doing right now that I maybe need to shift on, that maybe are not fulfilling me anymore, that maybe are not aligning with my values anymore? What needs to change? I think it would be so great if people would do this on a personal level, just on your own, but also as a couple. I think this would be amazing. Can you imagine? I actually know this influencer that she checks in. I don't know if she's married or not, but I know that they're together. They might be engaged or married. What they do every month. And she said that this is a very tedious thing that they do, but that it has made their relationship so much better. So they sit down once a month and they have a meeting, a relationship meeting. They sit down and they ask each other questions like, what have I been doing in the relationship that could change? How could I show up for you more in the relationship? What are some of the things that you want to change? Just all of these questions that talk about their relationship, that talk about what each person is doing to better themselves and what the other person could help them with, and things that could change, things that they could incorporate. Is just kind of like this deep dive into how your relationship is going. I mean, I don't think you have to do this every month, but even if a couple did it every other month, can you imagine how much stronger and how much better the communication would be between a couple? But also, if you just do this for yourself, if you do like a monthly check-in or bi-monthly check-in and you ask yourself, what are the things that are making me happy? What are some small wins that I have not paid attention to or celebrated? What are some things that I want to change in my life, and how am I going to implement that? Can you imagine how powerful that would be? Oh, that would be so amazing. I'm definitely going to start doing that more intentionally, for sure. And what this is going to do, it's going to shift people's mindset and take them out of that feeling of being stuck and dissatisfied with whatever's going in their life. I think this allows for you to shine the light on different areas of your life where you're not paying attention to, that maybe they're on autopilot. Maybe you don't even maybe you're not even paying attention to things that you're doing that are bothering you. And then when you take a step back and you dissect everything that's going on, you realize, wait a minute, this and this and this can go, because that's not serving me any longer. Maybe it was serving me like 2 or 3 months ago, or maybe last year. Why am I still doing it? Because I haven't paid attention and I just keep doing it. So let's change that. What you're not changing, you're choosing. So keep that in mind. Another thing I want to talk about is the scientific research that has been done on dopamine and motivation. So basically, it talks about how checking off small wins keeps you going. It gives you that hit of dopamine that you need to stay motivated. for example, in the fitness industry, coaches and trainers always tell their clients, take pictures of your progress so that you can see where you're going. A lot of the times in fitness, the scale doesn't always reflect the changes that are happening in your body. So being able to see those visual changes and that visual progress is everything. I've definitely been doing that, and it's such a game changer. Another win that I would think about in the health and fitness industry is strength. Okay, the other day I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he was talking about how I've lost weight and how he's noticed the progress in my fitness journey. And he asked how much weight I had lost, and I started to calculate it. And my fitness, when I really decided to hire another coach, because I've had multiple fitness coaches over the years. I've bought programs, I've bought all the things that you can think of. I have done it. And last year I decided, after I had launched my coaching business, I said, you know what, this is it. I need to really figure out how to get to my fitness goals. I need to work on this, and we're going to get it done. So I hired some fitness coaches. It's a husband and wife team, and they did a custom macro and workout program for me that I've been doing consistently since last September. But we are now in May. All of these months, right? It's taken me all of these months to actually get to a goal that I've been working towards. And I think it wasn't until maybe February where I finally locked in mentally, because I was locked in with my workouts. There was just something that was not working with my food and my mindset, and I would gain some and lose some, and then I stopped taking birth control, and that threw my hormones totally out of whack, and I gained 7 pounds in a week. It was just crazy. So I went through a lot. But it wasn't until February when I started to become really, really honest with myself. And I said, look, okay, what is going on here? And once I started to work on my mindset around my relationship with food, everything changed. And that will be another episode that is going to be so juicy, because I am going to be dropping so many new things that are going to be coming to my website, my social media, to the podcast, and I'm so excited to share, but we're not totally ready. So I'm just doing a little teaser. And for the people that listen to the podcast, you guys are going to be the first to hear everything, because you guys are my people. You guys are my ride or dies. And I truly, truly appreciate you guys. So if you are a person who struggles with losing weight and just don't really have a good relationship with your food because of emotional connections, a lot of us use food as a coping mechanism for anxiety or stress or celebrating. I mean, really, food is just around all sorts of emotional events. So if that's you, stay tuned. There's going to be so much more coming. But back to the story about my brother-in-law asking me about what I was doing and how much weight I had lost and all these things. So let's just go all the way back since I started last September to now, which we are now in June. I have lost about 15 to 20 pounds. It kind of fluctuates. It's been fluctuating a bit, those last kind of 5 pounds, because I've been traveling and I've been, having fun on the weekends and not totally strict on my diet. But I am about to kind of re-lock in and get back in on it, just because I did know that I was going to have certain weeks where I wasn't going to be able to. So I decided to live life and let it be a little bit more flexible, because I was comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with choosing the right things for myself. I know I always choose high protein. I travel with my protein shakes. I always make sure that I get the most steps that I can on vacation. When I was in New York, I would wake up early, go walk Central Park. I mean, it was just so much easier once I had done that mindset shift of I'm a healthy person versus I need to keep losing weight. That is like night and day. So for me, that's a huge celebration. The fact that I was able to go on vacation. I went to San Diego, had delicious Cuban food with my family, and then I came back and back to the grind. I went right back to my workouts. I went right back to my meal prep. And it's something that I am proud of. And acknowledging that and celebrating that gives me that dopamine hit that I need to be able to stay motivated and keep going. So another thing that my brother-in-law and I were talking about was what my goals are. He said, okay, that's so amazing that you lost the weight. What's your goal? What do you want to get to? And I said, I really just want to be the healthiest, most fit version of myself. Like I can visualize what that looks like, but now I want to connect to that because I feel like my heart is there, my mindset is there, my actions are there. Now I just need my body to match all of my actions. And to me, it's not so much about the way that I look, but it's about my strength. It's about the things that I can do. So I told him, you know what? I really would love to be able to do real pull-ups and real push-ups. And I know that by the end of the year, I will absolutely be at my goal because now I understand that when you have a vision and when you have a goal, you just break down, you reverse engineer how you're going to get to it. So I used to think it's like, oh, my upper body is just not strong enough. I can't do it. Like bottom heavy. So my legs are heavier. So it's just probably, I'm never going to be able to do a pull up. Well, no, that's not the case. What that means is if you are a 150-pound woman, then that means that you have to be able to do a lat pull down that is at least 150 pounds or greater to be able to do a pull up. I forget where I saw that, but when I saw it broken down like that, so simplified, I said, I can do that. I can absolutely do that. All I have to do is keep increasing my weight, keep showing up to the gym, keep doing different types of workouts that are gonna support the different muscle groups that I need to be able to do push-ups, to be able to do pull-ups. So for push-ups, being able to do bench presses of a certain amount of weight, obviously that's gonna help me to be able to do push-ups. And so he asked me, he's like, wait, you can't do a real push-up? And I said, you know what? I have not tried it. Let me try it. And I tried it and I did a very sloppy but real push-up. I think I went all the way down and I had to rest a little bit at the bottom. I don't know if I totally rested, but your girl is almost there. I am so proud of myself. So for today's episode, I thought you're definitely going to talk about that because, a year ago, I would not have been able to even do the modified regular push-up that I am able to do now. And that gives me so much hope. And it gives me that feeling of I can do anything that I set my mind to. Because if I was just focused on the fact that I can't do a real proper push-up, then that would make me feel horrible. I would be in scarcity mindset and I would just be thinking about all of the things that I can't do and it would be a domino effect. And then your energy is low and then all of a sudden you just set yourself back 10 steps and then you went over to the cupboard and you ate 5 cookies. I mean, I'm telling you, this is what used to happen to me, and this is what I have been able to overcome with the different techniques that I use to shift my mindset, to shift my energy, to regulate my nervous system. These are the things that people don't talk about. Because just in like the health and the fitness world, I used to always see people going through transformations where you see them being like, 200 pounds or more. And then all of a sudden they cut to that clip where they're like super ripped with like muscles and they have a 6-pack. And, I mostly look at women, obviously, because I want to look at what other women do to see what I can do. And I used to be like, damn. How did they get there? Like, how are they able to lock it in? Like, what's the secret? And I feel like I have discovered the secret. And the secret is your mindset. The secret is how you speak to yourself. The secret is how you react to things that set you back, because not all of us have the same story. And a lot of us have really hard things that have happened to us, multiple sicknesses, diseases, cancer, so many things, family losses. Some of us are dealt really, really tough cards, and it's not fair. If there's one thing that I can absolutely attest to, is that life is not fair. And when you realize that and when you accept it, you're able to start making the changes and making the decisions, because you're not held back by just worrying about being the victim and all of the things that are going wrong in your life. You're able to think about, okay, cool. Well, life is not fair. This is what is on my plate at the moment. What can I do to shift? What is one thing that I can do today to make my energy feel better, to make myself feel better, to start moving towards the life that I know I'm meant to live? What can I do? So, thinking about all of this and celebrating little wins is such a huge step of your journey in becoming the best version of yourself. Because if you're not celebrating yourself, who else is gonna celebrate you? It doesn't feel the same. Yes, it's amazing to have people around you that are encouraging you and that are telling you you're doing a great job. That's helpful. I love that. My love language is words of affirmation. So you better believe that I love hearing words of encouragement from everybody that I love and people that I don't know or whoever I am influencing. I love that. But at the end of the day, when you're able to sit down and just give those words to yourself and tell yourself, you're amazing, you are doing the best you can at the moment, and just do one more thing, just one more step. That's all you have to think about. That's a beautiful thing, because that means that you have your own back. And that means that if you trust yourself enough to get through the tough moments, you're going to just be so much better when you get to your goal, because you're going to be able to pivot whenever something life is thrown at you. Another thing I want to talk about is how hard it is for some people to celebrate themselves. I have had this conversation with some of my friends, and they have talked about how hard it is to give themselves praise on things that they are proud of. So if you think about, what if you could celebrate yourself the way that you celebrate others? Isn't that crazy how we can cheer other people on so hard, but it's just becomes so hard to do it for ourselves sometimes? Or even if you're like a mother or a father, you're completely encouraging your child and telling them they're the best, you can do anything. But then when it comes to yourself, you can't do the same. So if you're this type of person where it becomes hard to celebrate yourself, I would start with doing the little things. Like if you're having a really hard week or a really tough day, just celebrate the fact that you got out of bed today, right? If you're having a really bad day, just be like, hey, I got out of bed today. I was able to make my bed, or even if you didn't make the bed, you got out of bed and you did what you needed to do. So think about all of the little things in your day and just be thankful for those, right? So you got out of bed today. That's a win. You were able to maybe choose a food option that had a little bit of a higher protein than what you would have. That's a win. You decided to take a walk during your lunch. That is a win. Celebrate all these little small wins when you're having a hard time recognizing yourself or even identifying some wins in your life. What will happen when you stop celebrating your wins is that what's going to come into your life is going to be burnout, resentment, imposter syndrome, because you're going to start to fall into a more negative energy. And you're not going to be able to realize that there's a lot of good in your life. So the negative self-talk is going to start creeping in and taking over. And then you're going to start to feel like you're never good enough because you're behind, and because you're going to start comparing yourself to everybody else around you. So making sure that you're acknowledging all of the good things in your life and slowing down is going to keep you from getting to that comparison trap of telling yourself that you're not where you want to be. So I want to leave you with a little bit of homework. Okay, so write this down and ask yourself during the week or whenever you have time. What did I do this week that my past self would be proud of? Isn't that a good one? For me, is even though I've had really, really busy weeks where I have almost worked every single day, because even just doing my social media or uploading the podcast or, approving video edits and doing all of the things that I need to do, I'm still sometimes working on the weekends. It's nonstop. So to me, a win that I have been very proud of is my ability to get back on track with my fitness and my goals, and being self-employed to just get myself to do the things that I need to get is such a huge win, because I used to think that I didn't have the discipline to be self-employed and to do all of the things that I wanted to do. But really what was missing was that confidence in myself that I would be able to do it once I got there. Okay, so the second question that I want you to work on as part of your homework is, what have I been overlooking that actually is progress? Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one to really think about things in your life that you're not even acknowledging as progress. We are so critical of ourselves, and other people might notice these things as progress, but we sometimes don't. So this is a great question to just take a few moments and maybe you just think about it, right? You read it at the beginning of the day and then you sit on it, and then throughout the day you think about it and you think about it. To me, what happens for me is I will get so many hits, so many downloads of ideas and thoughts and just enlightening moments when I'm working out or when I'm walking or when I'm in movement. A lot of the times I take my meetings on the treadmill, or if I'm learning something or listening to a podcast or working on a new project, I will be on the treadmill in my computer, because I don't know what it is about movement, but getting that blood flowing, it makes me just have so many great ideas. So think about how you can encourage those thoughts to flow to you and do that. Okay, so now the last question that I want to leave you with is, how can I romanticize this current version of myself? Ooh, that's also a good one. Like, honestly, a lot of the times we're so worried about getting to the destination that we've been dreaming about that we don't realize how beautiful the phase that we're in is. Me, currently, I am a single woman, and I have never embraced and enjoyed being single so much as I have now. And the reason for that is because I have chosen myself. I have chosen to heal myself, to heal my heart, to heal my mind, to heal my body. I am choosing me. I am choosing to show up for myself. I am choosing to create my own dream life, to curate who is around me, who has access to me, where I'm going, and where I'm going to be. Now, if that is not the most fire thing, I don't know what is. To me, this current version of myself, I absolutely will be romanticizing this single self because I know that I will definitely be in a relationship at some point in my life. And it doesn't have to be just one, right? Like, I don't think that I'm definitely all about marriage, and I would like to find my person that I end up with, but I am not so worried about when that will happen, right? Because I think everything happens at the right time. And if you just sit back and let your intuition guide you, you're gonna get to the place that you need to be. So, for all my single girlies out there that are just sitting here wondering when they're gonna find that perfect match, let me just tell you that you have to pour all of that love into yourself first before you can start attracting that special person, because energy goes where energy flows. The moment you start loving yourself, the moment you start showing up for yourself in your health, in your fitness, in your job, in your dreams, with your friends, with your family, the moment you start glowing up and you start doing all the things you haven't been doing for yourself, that's the moment that you start being a magnet for everything that you want. I can honestly attest to that. It's been really crazy the last couple of months where I keep getting people asking me or telling me just like, wow, your energy is great. You're beautiful. And let me just tell you, I don't wear makeup to the gym. I work out very hard. I sweat. I'm not paying attention. Yeah, I wear cute outfits, but like, I'm not doing my face. Like, I'm not showing up all glam. And I think it's my energy. I'm not saying that it's just because of whatever, but I think my energy has changed dramatically, and that shows from the inside out. It's how you carry yourself, it's how you walk into a room, it's just how you love yourself that will show. So, yes, let's romanticize being single. Let's romanticize being in a relationship. Let's romanticize being at whatever stage of life that we're in, because it's beautiful and you're never going to be in this same place ever again. So let's appreciate it. Let's enjoy it. And then let's send out the best energy that we can. The last journal prompt or question that I'm going to leave you with, I think I had said the other one was the last one, but I lied. It's this one. Okay, so this is also a really good one. What would I celebrate if I stopped waiting for perfection? Oof, mic drop. That I think I should put on the top of my journal, and I should absolutely do this one myself because this is such a good one. Me being a Virgo, I love things that are perfect. And the crazy thing about Virgos, or at least myself, is that I either want it perfect or I don't want it. Meaning I'm either all put together or life is chaos. So it's kind of crazy that the way that I've learned to kind of shift this mindset of just having everything perfect all the time. And this podcast for today is a perfect example. I was freaking out all week because of my eye getting bigger and bigger and more swollen. And now I have a big round ball on my eye that I don't know when it's going to go away. I was so worried about being able to release my podcast and saying, oh my God, what am I going to do? It has to be perfect. I can't have a podcast with no video and just audio. And it's like, who cares? Who cares? You are still releasing the message. You are still posting on your designated day and time. It's okay that it's not perfect and that it's not video. You're fine. Everything's going to be fine. So let's learn to pivot. If I would have known this like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago, if I would have allowed myself to not be perfect and just go with the flow on certain things, my life would be so much easier. But look, here we are. We have grown. We have learned. We have evolved. We have done the work. And here we are showing up every single day, doing the work and getting closer to our goals, getting closer to that curated dream life that we have on our vision board. My vision board is on my lock screen of my phone, so I can see it every single day and remind myself of what I want and where I'm going and where I'm going to be. So I hope that you do the same. I truly hope that you take the time and do these 4 questions. It's your little homework assignment. And if you do it, tag me on social media. You can tag me, you can DM me, you can just send me a message. I would love to hear how this went for you and the things that you are working through and celebrating. I would love to hear that. Thank you so much for tuning in to Main Character Manifesto today. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it with a friend, tag me on social, or leave a review. It helps more people find the show and step into their own main character energy. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself. The world needs your story.